The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us once again. It is an exciting show as we're in the Christmas holiday season right here, and that season is upon us right here at Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. So once again, thanks for joining us. Of course, you can go to stewart.com/radio to check out this show again or any of the past 400 plus shows right there, stewart.com/radio. As I said, we are in the holiday spirit, so we're going to talk today with people that are going to tell us about things going on right here in the Houston area and even things beyond the holiday season. So it's going to be very exciting. You're going to want to get your pencil out, write a note down or two, or as I said, go back to the show archive at stewart.com/radio. It's about time to get down to business as Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title begins right now with one of the most unique individuals in the city of Houston as far as history goes. And in addition, I don't think there's any other city that has a historian as enthusiastic and knowledgeable as Mr. Mckinney. Mr. Mckinney, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to be here at KPRC.
Well, you are the history guy in so many ways. I mean, there's not, when I tell people about you, I say there's not a piece of ground of any size in Houston that you can't tell us the history. This was here. Sam Houston used to walk in this space, all those things. So history is exciting, but first of all, let's tell people generally about what you do.
You know, it's like title companies, right? We go all the way back to the original land use. We talk about how things started, okay? And that's what we do on board the Houston History Bus and with Mr. Mckinney's Historic Houston. And, I launched it, almost 20 years ago. It was January 22nd, 2002. So since then, I've been going into schools, classrooms, LaPorte ISD, Spring Branch ISD, and HISD, and after-school programs teaching kids about their Houston history, their local history, their area history. Because I really feel if young people know about the area around them, they're going to be more civically involved. They're going to be more civic pride. They're going to care more about the area because guess what? They know the history behind it. So that's kind of what we do. And about 6 years ago, I launched the Houston History Bus, and that's been an absolute pleasure and joy because it's really kind of catapulted something that's, not as exciting, right? Just going in a classroom talking to kids with PowerPoints and show and tell items that we have, right? But all of a sudden, when you can take the kids out of the classroom, take them where the history actually happened in a fun and unique way, it works, and the kids absorb content, and that's the most important thing. That's why we have an closed air bus versus a closed air bus, because we knew that if we just got a regular school bus, they're going to learn, but they're not going to learn the same way. So, yes, as the person giving the content to them in a special, unique way, my background's theater, working over at the Alley Theater for 12 seasons and 5 years at Theater of the Stars and Stages Theater as well. And delivering it is important. The way you deliver it, but also the way that you make sure people absorb the content is also equally important.
And as you mentioned, the History Bus, we're going to tell people what's going on for the holiday season.
Sure.
But also, before we get started too much, let's tell people right here, we're on KPRC now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, about 2 years. KPRC is a historic radio station. Let's tell people a little bit about what you know there.
Absolutely. So KPRC stands for Cotton Port Rail Center, okay? And that's a big deal because that's what Houston was known for back in those days in the 1920s when radio really became a thing here in Texas, okay? So you can trace radio as early back to Dallas in 1923. It didn't really come to Houston about 1925. And KPRC was one of the very first radio stations on our area. And it's the oldest continuously operating commercial radio station in our region, which is a big deal. You had radio stations before KPRC, but they were amateur ham radio stations, so it was people experimenting. A really famous early experimenter of radio and inventor was a guy named Howard Hughes. So these are people that, as he was a young man, right, in his teens and early 20s, so he's out there experimenting with this brand new medium called radio, and he would, of course, go on to do great things. But it's the idea of KPRC still operating in our area because of the amazing loyal listeners that are out there listening to the show. So it's a pleasure to always be in the studio. And when you come here to visit, there's a great little mini museum that I have a pleasure of checking out. Some early transmitters and just early photos of how things worked back in the day. So I just think that's great that y'all did that. So kudos to whoever is in charge of the office here and cares that much about history because y'all have an important place in Houston's radio history.
Indeed. And you mentioned going back to the history bus and what's going on during the holiday season. You were talking about how the children are learning and that, but this is for adults too. As real estate professionals are out there listening, anyone else is listening, they want to be a part of the lighting tour and some of the other things going on. So let's tell them. And if you're looking on the YouTube video, we have a cross-section of the history bus right here. You can be on it if you're like really, really small. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a mini bus. And the fun story behind this bus is listeners probably know the name Judge Roy Hoffines. And I took a page out of Judge Hoffines' book. Here he was trying to get this idea of the world's first air-conditioned dome stadium passed, right? This was a bond package. There's also getting investors involved to bring a major league team here to Houston. Nothing has changed, right? Here we are out there having to get a new stadium in order to get a new team, right? Same concept back in the day, but this stadium was very special. So he had 6 little mini domes that he popped the top off and would take these in briefcases around the country to sell this idea of Major League Baseball into a dome stadium. I did the same thing with a little mini bus. That's how I pitched it to foundations and people to help me support this idea. That was crazy. You're going to take a bus off in Houston, Texas in the heat and take the top off. So we do fun ways, as you mentioned earlier, and get the history out there. I'm the only TREC certified Houston historian, so I teach Houston history mostly to realtors for their CE and MC credit hours. So that's a big deal. It totally connects with your market. That's the idea behind what we do. So we're going to make sure, so it's not just kids, it's also adults, and we do it in a fun way. So you can either be in some boring classroom with some instructor, or you can be on board the Houston History Bus learning about Houston's past in a very special way. We cover all 285 subdivisions in the Interloop area. We cover 22 historical districts, Katy Tour, Woodland Heights Tour, Cypress Tour, Galveston Tour, you name it. It's all over. Every place and every space has history, just a matter of digging deep and finding. It's actually all around us, including where we're at right now, an R.E. Bob Smith's property back in the day. And you might know that name. I mentioned Roy Hoffines earlier because they're the guys that gave us the Colt 45s and the Houston Astros baseball team and the Astrodome. And speaking of R.E. Bob Smith, we go visit his house in River Oaks on Mr. Mckinney's River Oaks Christmas Light Tour.
And I am listening right now, and I want to go on the lighting tour. Let's tell people about that. It's in River Oaks. So we're not just going to see Christmas lights. We're going to see over-the-top, beautiful lights. Let's tell people about the lights in River Oaks, some of the trivia that you talk about on the bus and everything else. Right now, I'm visually right there on the bus looking at these lights, but let's tell people.
Man, we are taking you up and down River Oaks Boulevard. We're going all throughout these well-known streets that people understand, Del Monte, Inwood. We're going to touch on Chevy Chase as well. Meander through Kirby. So we're going to take you all around River Oaks. I actually have 3 routes that I run. I've got a central route up River Oaks Boulevard, an eastern route, and then a western route. And the reason why we have 3 different routes is that we gauge the traffic. So if you know the area of River Oaks well, some of those carriage rides and the hay rides, they only come in town seasonally once a year. I do a daytime River Oaks tour called Merry Mansions with Mr. Mckinney and a daytime River Oaks tour of John Staub's Legacy, right? So we know the streets really well. We're going to make sure the bus is rolling for your 1-hour experience. We go out every single evening from November 25th to January 2nd. So it starts Thanksgiving, ends January 2nd. And we go out at 5.
Every evening.
Every Monday through Sunday. Rain or shine, and we'll talk about that too. So rain or shine, the show must go on. That's so important because people have out-of-town family members. They can't reschedule, so we're not going to do that to them. So we've got a bus with a roof on it. It's our backup bus. So just let people know that we do have these options.
Or even snows.
Snows? Well, we've had that situation happen before. It's gotten really, really super cold and it hasn't been safe. So we'll do what we have to do to make sure you have a great experience. And we go out at 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30. That is 6 1-hour tours minimum every single evening. Sometimes I do a 7:30. My voice is not so great, but sometimes I do 11:30 rather. So 6 1-hour tours. I mean, we're all performers here, and we know that the aspect of pushing the body as much as we can. So I do the best I can, but we have a lot of fun. And yes, you're going to get the history behind the mansions, who built the mansions, and where their wealth comes from in a fun, unique way. I also had the pleasure of serving as the president for the Downtown Public Library's Julie Idison building. We have 4.5 million photos in our collection, and I show you these photos as we're driving on. All the tours that I offer always have these old black and white photos. So we're going to drive on River Oaks Boulevard. I'm going to show you, by the way, Dr. Michael Mann's house now, right there in between San Felipe and Chevy Chase, right there, off of River Oaks Boulevard. But I'm going to show you who used to live there, not just Bob Lanier, but the guy before that, Silver Dollar Jim West's mansion. So we're going to show you an old black and white photo of his 1928 mansion, beautiful Spanish style, that you're not going to see anywhere else.
Tell us a little bit about the trivia that people will hear about as they look at the lights, because what people are doing, and for people listening outside of Houston, Texas, give us a quick word on River Oaks, what that is.
Yeah.
It's like Beverly Hills,
the premier neighborhood
as far as Houston goes.
Yeah, you've got Highland Park in Dallas. You've got Beverly Hills and the Los Angeles area. These are all luxury neighborhoods that people have always learned about, heard about, and aspire one day to maybe live in those neighborhoods, right? And that gives people hope. And this time of year, we're all about hope, right? So we're on board the bus. We're traveling throughout. We're showing you some amazing lights. And we also give you some trivia about the light packages themselves. You might be surprised that some residents spend up to $48,000 on their lights. So 48 grand.
I want to see that house.
Well, and that's 24 to put them up and 24 to take them down. There's also one house we're going to show you. He spends $100,000 combined to make the holiday happen. Yes, and that is an amazing house, by the way, and that's going to be on our tour as well. It's on every single year. He's one of the kindest man that I know, and I actually had the pleasure of, he was our board president over at Theater Under the Stars when I worked over at Tuts. So just people like that. And a lot of these folks aren't in town during the holidays. These are River Oaks residents that do this for us. They understand that if you're on a budget and if you can't get on board the bus, we get pretty booked up. I want to make sure listeners out there right now on your phones, listen to the radio, but on your phones right now, like and follow Mr. McKinney's Historic Houston and the Houston History Bus, because we launch every year in July, Christmas in July. And then by the time we hit October, November, we're totally full. And I've got people calling me all over now. I mean, just begging to get on board the bus, and we can't help them if it's already committed, right? So there's only one bus, only one Mr. McKinney, and only one, opportunity to get on board for every single slot that we have, and they do fill up fast. So Mr. McKinney's Historic Houston and the Houston History Bus on social media. But you'll get trivia about the light packages as well.
Give us a quick word for the future. Outside of the holiday season, you're working year-round, helping people with history. The bus is running year-round, right?
Yeah, absolutely, all the time.
And let's give people a contact information, again, how they can reach out to you. They can follow you on Facebook.
There's several ways. One, MrMcKinney.com, Mr. spelled out like Mr. Rogers, MisterMckinney. And then my cell phone is out there. Everybody has it. It's 713-364-8674, 713-364-8674. You can text me. Please text me your first name, your last name, and the number of people you want to bring on board the bus, or what your question is. I get lots of calls, and I get lots of texts, and just like you, I'm always in a studio, so it's easier to text me, 713-364-8674. But yeah, we'd love to people on the bus, and you have to have 20 people, though. You do have to have a group of people. That is super important. We're not a tour company, and we don't sell individual tickets. So the only way to get on board Mr. McKinney's History Bus is you have to have 20 people. So go ahead and have your 20 people ready to go before you contact us, because that's how and we go out whenever you have 20 people. So it can be a 10 o'clock experience on a Tuesday for your clients. It can be a happy hour experience in the evening on a Friday. Doesn't bother me as long as you have 20 people ready to go. And the money goes to a nonprofit. And that's how we fund our free classroom tours for school kids. So whenever you rent the bus out privately, you're sponsoring 2 classrooms of 30 kids. That's 60 kids that get to go on the bus for free. And I have a waiting list with HISD with 112 classrooms. So you can either make a donation of $300 to sponsor a classroom of 30 kids, or you can simply rent the bus out privately.
That's a lot of information.
Always.
No, I got to take a breath.
We're rapid fire. You're going to get a lot of facts.
So, people hear me calling you Mr. McKinney. What is your first name?
It's Mr. like
there
Mr. Rogers. That's what we answer to. Yeah.
Right. I just want to clear that up there, because people are thinking.
It's spelled out. They have to make sure they spell it out,
Mr.
because if you Google
McKinney.
Mr. McKinney, you're going to get all my content. I've been the resident historian for Channel 11 since 2008, going on Great Day Houston, a bunch of specials with them, and really, really want to make sure people that they Google us and see what we do. As a performer, as an artist, if you don't like my page and if you don't, know what we do, then there's no point in you joining us on board the bus, because you're not going to appreciate what we do, right? So I really appreciate people liking us in advance, knowing what we offer on board the bus, and then being able to join us.
And before we close this segment, 1 minute, what else do you want people to know?
I want people to know to be kind this time of year. We're really busy, but we'll definitely answer you. I answer every single call I get. It might be in February. No, I'm kidding. It might be a while, but we will get back to you, because we want to get you on board the bus for any kind of experience. And then follow our social media sites so you can join us on board the bus.
Mr. McKinney, the number is
713-364-8674. Again, that's 713-364-8674.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's welcome Rodney Brooks and John Stanley. They're with Second Baptist Church. Rodney is the worship minister there. John is so many things: orchestra director, arranger, handling all the musicians that we have, hundreds of them there. And he's also a master of percussion with the drums and so many things. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks,
good to be
Bill.
here.
So glad to be here.
Well, it's such an exciting time around the world, here in Houston, Texas, but certainly at Second Baptist Church. So many things are going on there, but one of the things we're focusing on today is a performance called The Light Has Come. And when people hear this show, it is upon us on the 18th and 19th of December.
That's right.
And we're talking about Second Baptist as we have 7 campuses. We're talking about our Woodway location at 6400 Woodway.
Yes.
So, Rodney, first of all, let's just tell people a little bit about what you're doing there at Second. Now you're there almost a whole year. We're
almost
getting there.
a full year. It's been an exciting time, and a lot of learning and getting to know people in the program, and rebuilding, of course, as many churches are doing right now. now, but God is giving us the increase, and we're so excited about what He's going to do this Christmas season. The last time we did The Light Has Come was back in 2019, so to bring it back around 2 years later is a real exciting point for our ministry.
And, of course, we hear the term applied to so many categories of life, pent-up demand. I think we're going to be ready for a big crowd because there's going to be 6 performances between 2 days. And, John, let's tell people some of the things you're doing at Second Baptist, those that come on a regular basis, those that view us around the world online and so forth, but certainly as the show is upon us here soon, let's tell people what you're doing.
Oh, man, I'm just getting to do some original material that I'm really excited about, plus some working with another arranger that we have on staff with us, an incredible songwriter, arranger. He's our 1111 worship pastor, Josh Smith. Getting to work with him is always a blast. And so we're kind of putting our heads together and creating some fun original content for some really, really unique performances that are going to be coming up. And so one of the real special ones that I'm really excited about is something that we're working on with the Silhouettes. They are America's Got Talent. They won
the Golden Buzzer 2020. Yeah. They were the Golden Buzzer event winners.
Yeah, and then they won in previous year. I forget exactly what year it was.
Season 6.
That's what it was, Season 6. And getting to work with Lynn on just some original content there, and got to write an original composition for a creation piece that they are putting together with our orchestra. And man, that is going to be a spectacular way to open the show that we're really excited about.
In fact, it's hard to imagine all the things going on. In fact, just taking an example, this past week's service was a little bit extra music, more perform to say the least.
Yeah.
Yes.
More performances. Kids are involved. Dancers are involved.
Yes.
And if you just took a slice section of that for a 3-minute section, all the people that were in the scenes, behind the scenes, it is massive. And when people attend The Light Has Come, it's going to be like that, even bigger.
Yeah. Even probably tenfold. As Dr. Young mentioned yesterday in the services, we saw just a glimpse of what we're going to see during the weekend of The Light Has Come, because many of those same participators will be in this program as well. Orchestra members, singers, dancers. We just opened the doors to our ministry to put this presentation on.
Yeah, full cast, full choir. I mean, it's a big deal.
How many people are in the choir, Rodney, for this performance?
Right now we're probably a little over 100 that will be singing with us. Again, trying to rebuild from all the COVID devastation, but we're over 100 singers strong in the choir. And then, of course, a host of cast members, actors, dancers, and soloist.
How many musicians, John?
Oh,
if anyone has a handle, you do.
Yeah, so quite a few. I mean, we're looking at an orchestra around 30, and so a 30-piece orchestra that are going to be coming in and really filling some things out. It's going to be really, really nice. Plus,
a spectacular orchestra.
Yeah, phenomenal orchestra, as you know, Bill. I mean, you've been a part of our team for many, many years, playing on the B3, Bill.
But 21 and a half, but who's counting? But I do want to say this, and I say this, and when you mentioned Josh Smith, J.J. Worthen, Jeff Anderson, yourself, these guys, I get a little nervous because it's like, here's another musical, Alex Navarro. It's like, here's another musical genius. I might as well just go home. I am doing all I can just to stay with the thing. I mean,
it's exciting.
We have such talent there.
Incredible.
Rhonda Williams, I mean, we can go on. But people just need to know, come and check us out. The Light Has Come. And let's tell the dates, Rodney.
So on December the 18th and the 19th, December 18th and 19th, it's a Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, you have 2 opportunities at 3 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. On Sunday, you have 9:30, 11:11, 3 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. Like we said before, half of them are ticketed. That guarantees you your favorite seat in the house.
Exactly.
Of course, you can come to the free ones, which, of course, correlate with our service times, 6 o'clock on Saturday night, 9:30 Sunday morning, and 11:11. And it's open seating. Just get there early to get your best seat.
We'll echo what Dr. Young says. You come to one of the free ones, please bring a guest.
Yes.
Okay. And when the worship center is filled, as far as people that have never been there, in terms of a venue to see anything, it's the top state of the art, audio, visual, the people behind the scenes.
Yes.
I mean, they're doing incredible work. But when we're full, I forget the seating capacity. It's what, 6,000, John? Or
no, it's right around 5.
So it's about 5. Well, only 5,000. But yes,
only 5.
We'll have room for you with 6 performances. performances,
Plenty of
so
room.
we want people to be there and
No
get
doubt,
there early.
yeah. And like you said, the tech and all the tech team that we have and everybody behind the scenes is just phenomenal. And so it is a top tier crew all the way across the board. So fun to work with them, and they make things incredibly easy, which is wonderful at this stage of the game.
And the other things that are going on, when people want to be in an event for Christmas, get in the spirit. I don't know that there's a better thing to do than to attend, however, attend any weekend, but certainly the weekend 18th and 19th, but around the peripherals. We're going to have trains that are in the atrium. There's different scenes, photo opportunities, all things around the campus that are just go above and beyond.
Yes, well, before the show starts, you have an atrium full of energy and excitement. There's a huge Christmas tree that uses great lighting with music combined with coordinated music, and then the train display that we'll talk about at another time. But it's worth the visit.
You could walk under the trains.
Yes.
I mean,
and all around it.
Yeah,
it's a destination all in of itself.
Yeah, it is.
It really
in fact,
is.
it's open during the week. I forget the times, but there's certain times people can contact second.org to find out the train times.
10 a.m. each morning, I believe. Yes.
But for those that are having lunch around the city and want to drop in, they could do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. They can come through and experience that at any time. And we also just want to encourage, we're still having services during the weekend as well. And so please come and check those out as well. We have a big all music weekend this weekend, which last weekend felt like all music.
Well, wait a minute. I
This
thought
one
last
is
week-
genuinely all music.
What's going to happen this weekend?
We've added even more.
Yeah. So please come
You
check
didn't
it
replace
out.
me, did you? I get
You're
worried.
still at the Hammond.
We got a big
Okay.
drum line coming in, big features on those, great soloists coming in, and then obviously for the lightest come, we're also featuring Veritas and the amazing group as well.
Yes.
And then Christmas Eve services on the 23rd and 24th, which are going to be incredible. So we have a 6 o'clock.
Yeah, there's a Christmas
Eve at
yeah.
6 p.m. and then
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we have a Christmas Eve at 4 and 6.
Yes.
So all of that is just
A lot of
lights
music,
out.
a lot of Christmas music. It's the best way to welcome Christmas into your family, into your home, to friends, family, and neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, indeed. I'm going to also venture to say, Rodney, that you have been with us for almost a year.
Almost a year.
Almost a year, that the choir is in top form because you've helped them get to be all they can be.
thank
I've
you.
seen that as I sit behind the Hammond, and they are now more prone to, I think, do their best. They're looking, they're watching, they're even smiling.
When you
clapping.
can get
And if they're listening.
clapping. When you can get a choir energized, the smile just comes, and they are excited about what's happening. They are
exactly.
into their art form, and we've centered the choir on this program. So you're going to hear, as we said before, you're going to hear a fabulous orchestra. You're going to hear a marvelous choir, wonderful soloists, terrific actors and actresses, dancers. There will be moments that you will cry, moments that you will laugh, but most of all, be inspired and hear the Word of God in this theater production.
Well, one of the songs this past weekend, as I was listening on the YouTube videos that are made of our services, I forget which one it was, but I think it was the one where we had the dancers, there were singers, but then it wasn't the one where the children were featured singing, but they sang in the background.
Christmas
and as you're
Angels.
talking about being moved, just hearing the sound of children, how that enhanced the song and all the different things going on with it, but to hear them singing, you know what I'm talking about, John?
Absolutely.
I heard it in a different
Absolutely.
way when I looked back at the video, and I thought, this just is incredible.
Yeah.
This is what it's about, and to see those kids smile, the dancers.
Yes.
Yeah, the excitement of the kids is something that's real fun. My 2 kids are in it, and so we have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they're both in it, and they just come home
The Cook's
beaming.
children. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many people that
Yeah.
are part of our ministry.
Yes.
Their children are singing. Josh Smith,
Yes.
his daughter
Yeah,
was
yeah,
dancing,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Well, for many of our families, their entire family is participating in some form
Yeah.
or another, be it dance, singing, instrumentalists, acting, backstage. The opportunities are just through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a family affair, really
Definitely.
is.
So if you were to say all the people involved, Rodney, from the people that we see performing, the musicians behind the scenes,
Yes.
How many people are
Oh my
involved?
goodness,
I mean,
hundreds are involved. It's amazing to watch. We've been rehearsing now for months. We started, if you can believe this, in July, working on the Christmas music with the choir. We had Christmas in July with the choir, and we introduced all of the music. But to watch the various segments develop over the past months, it's been exciting. And in just another week, we're going to stage it all. So we can hardly wait to see it all put together.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Because so far we've only seen it in segments, and and to just work on a single segment takes a host of people at their very best.
And the musicians, we're talking about people being in their top form, the choir,
Yes.
the featured singers, the praise team, the
Yes.
musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to go around, not counting me, but the other musicians and look at their credentials, these are people that have played with some of the top people, but they're tremendous musicians and performers.
They've played with some of the top acts in the world, honestly. And I mean, you go down their credential list, it's very impressive. They're incredible musicians across the board. I mean, you got guys like Woody Witt, saxophone extraordinaire, to Alex Navarro, who's been on tour with so many different people, also played in 42nd Street, New York Broadway. I mean, you've got the gamut across the board,
Really do.
and we've got so many just amazing. We've got some who are members of the Houston Symphony. We've got those who are members of the Grand Opera. It's incredible musicianship across the board.
It really is.
Very
And
exciting.
A word about the percussion. Now, you are a drummer, percussionist is just one of the things that you do, but it seems like every show, people get excited when they see drummers in a row doing things. It's moving, and you've been behind that. I mean, there was even a show where they're coming out of the ceiling. You've heard about that, Rodney.
I heard about
A couple
that.
years ago, we definitely flew in the air. Yeah, that was crazy.
In fact, you've probably seen the video, right?
No, it's a blast. We've got Donnie Boutwell, who's been with us for a number of years. He's phenomenal, just a phenomenal percussionist. Aaron Guillory is another incredible percussionist. And so it's so fun to work with guys that I can just relay limited information to and just say, this is how this needs to be, and they lock on and they knock it out of the park. And so that across the board, having that level of musicianship across the board for something like this has made it so fun, so rewarding, and I just cannot wait to hear it all come together, because our front of house mixer Josh Webster and Mac Brown and his team, they do such an incredible job of bringing the reality of what's going on stage right to the very core of your being. I mean, it pulses through you how they mix it in house, and so it's a phenomenal surrounding experience. It's not just something you see far off. You feel immersed in it.
As far as monitors go, and on the stage, Anthony and Gavin, these guys, I mean, they're sitting there and everybody has a request as far as their mix. Even me this weekend, I was saying, can you turn Alex down? He's like, oh, man.
The attitude at which they handle everything is
you
just
have to have a good attitude.
So amazing. It's rare. For sure.
But they are incredibly important to help each artist be at their best, and it's critical. We'll be done on our Woodway campus, located at 6400 Woodway Drive.
So once again, people can go the 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Saturday at 3 p.m., 6 o'clock also, and that one is free.
That one is free.
Sunday at 9:30.
That's free.
11:11.
That's free.
3 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
Ticketed.
6 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
Ticketed.
I have a feeling the performers might be tired.
We may be a little weary by the end, but we'll be excited.
But you know what? By that 6 o'clock performance, we'll have it down.
We'll have it down.
For darn sure.
Don't go on autopilot yet, though. Oh, man, we got to get through it. Yeah, for sure.
1 minute before we close, Rodney, what else do you want people to know?
I would just invite folks to go to thelighthascome.org. You can check out all the information there, and the ticketing, pricing, and seating is all available to you. Just check it out. We hope to see you on. And I promise you, if you come to one, you'll want to come to another one. Many people have done that.
And John?
Rodney echoed it well. I mean, and I echo whatever Rodney just said. Just come and enjoy it and get immersed in the experience. I think that you will be in awe of what you watch.
And you're exactly right. I've done it through the years. When I was not participating, I would go to an early performance, but I would go back again, sit in a different seat, get in a different perspective, and it is just incredible.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank also Tammy Bolts for helping us get together.
Yes.
Allie was also a part of this. All the staff there in the music and arts
Fabulous
department.
staff, yes.
They're awesome.
They are
amazing staff.
the best, the
across
very
the
best.
board.
We couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, Kristen Beatles and the Spa team, the School of Performing Arts team is just incredible as well. So,
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for being on the show.
Thank you, Bill.
TheLightHasCome.org, right?
Got it.
Let's welcome Alicia Lawyer. She is the founder, artistic director, and principal oboe for a thing called RoCO.
Woohoo!
Let's tell people what RoCO is.
Thank you so much. It is a 40-piece professional chamber orchestra I started in 2005 because my church, St. John the Divine, renovated. And I love all the connections in Houston. Our season this year, Musical Threads, you can find at RoCO.org, RoCO.org. I love the connections that are here with Mr. Mckinney and historical perspectives with his bus that's so phenomenal. And also the fact that I was born and bred Baptist and married a Catholic, and now we're at St. John's Episcopal. So I just love the fact that Houston, you can find a connection. There's 1 degree of separation. But RoCO is a professional 40-piece chamber orchestra, which means it is all the instruments you see in a symphony orchestra, but 40 of us. And we've been premiering and world premiering works since the beginning. So we don't just do the classics, which we also do, but we also commission works to be made, which I think actually also speaks to Stewart Title because of ownership. The ownership that you can have of music now and the fact you can know living composers. And it was kind of important during the COVID because we were live streaming since 2013 and didn't have to do the crazy word pivot. We were actually able to live stream, and we had 250,000 views of our concerts because we offer it for free online to listen to all of the things that we do and watch what we do. But I do like the fact that we have commissioned 120 works, 120 world premieres from composers all over the world. And we are the 3rd largest commissioning group in the United States. Half our musicians are not from here. They fly in to play. They're people I handpicked who actually smile when they play, which is kind of rare in classical music. And my whole goal, Bill, is to make you laugh. So that is why I'm here. That is my purpose in life.
And that is a worthy cause.
It
a
is.
super worthy cause.
It could be
in
a whole
fact.
contest, where you just have to make Bill laugh. No, so it's great to be back on the radio. I actually was a DJ for KRTS back in the day, and it's wonderful. I love radio, and especially, obviously, this incredibly important historic station.
It is historic. It has a reach that is just tremendous,
Yes.
especially when this show, I didn't think about it, I've said this before, but when we are on the air at the time of broadcast in Houston from 5 to 6 Sunday, that is such a powerful hour. As if you're on any high, especially for people in a car listening to the radio, if you're on any highway at that time of day, look around. You're not alone because there's thousands of people potentially listening to all sorts of things. And this show, we hope, as they go back and forth to their second house, to their
Exactly.
visiting relatives, all those things. It's awesome. RoCO.org. RoCO.
So yeah, we love to share our music with the community. We are all over the Houston area. Our goal is also to take people on tours musically through the Houston area. We have concerts coming up, which is Beer and Brass at St. Arnold's Brewery. It's not background music. No one puts baby in the corner. But we also just are main event performances, and you will have really great beer. We call that the gateway concert to most of the things that we do. We also have a concert at Rienzi on the 22nd of January, and it's a Mexican-style Schubertiad salon concert. And
Rienzi, is that the name of a restaurant? Or
Rienzi is a house
venue?
that was donated to the MFA. It's on Kirby Drive. You can see a tiny little sign for it on the right side, west side of the street as you drive by. It's this mid-century modern gorgeous house that they have a lot of art that you can tour, great azaleas as well. But we do a concert there once a year, chamber music-wise, not the full or 40-piece orchestra, but some singer at this particular concert. And it's all based on Sandra Cisneros' writings, who is a Chicano poet and author. And so that you can imagine swinging from Beer and Brass to that kind of thing. We are truly all over the map. And we weave music. It is a language that we weave through our community. As I was saying, we do so many living composers. We discovered you can't Zoom with Beethoven. It would be inappropriate as well. Again, I'm waiting for you to laugh.
I'm not sure about that, but okay. I mean,
it's impossible. Let's just say
Okay.
that without
All right.
seances, which shouldn't be happening. And so we discovered you can't Zoom with Beethoven, but you can really get to know living composers who write works that are relevant for today. As an example, in February, our big 40-piece chamber orchestra concert on the 26th of February, but it's also a piece about hope. We also do a concert at the Holocaust Museum. I used to work there for 5 years before I started the orchestra because of my passion for teaching people to not just tolerate others, that's our least bar, but to actually really connect with other people. And it's a beautiful space there to talk about all different ways we can celebrate humanity. And
so all these events,
Yes.
people can go to
ROCO.org.
ROCO.org so they could see the big event in February. the smaller one in January. So it sounds like you have something once a month, or
2 or 3 times a month.
2 or 3.
Yes. Yeah, we have about 22 concerts in 12 different venues, and we are live streamed for free, so you can watch us. But something you would like to know about these people I'm talking to and pointing in the room, because it's radio, you can't see that, but I am gesturing at this point.
Okay,
I am.
John
Thank you,
Stanley.
and you and Bill and everybody. We have a thing called RoCO Rooters, and everyone can root for RoCO, but this particular thing is for kids 10 and under. During and after the concerts at St. John's, your kids get music education during the concert. They come in to hear one piece live. You're not sitting next to them, so you don't have to shush them. And then they stay for pizza and movies till 10:30, so you get a date night after the show. Perfect for you. I say we're saving marriages one concert at a time. So there you go. It's musical marital therapy. I've never said that before, and that's a new slogan. Greta, please take that. Let's talk about that.
Musical marital
There we
therapy.
go. There it is. It's out there now.
It's out there now.
It's going to be on a billboard, my friend.
That sounds awesome. Now, the other thing I mentioned early on is that you are a principal oboe player.
Yes.
Okay, let's tell people, in case they don't know, what the oboe is. It's a tremendous instrument, but it's not the most popular one.
Well,
I mean,
it should
right?
be.
Well,
I mean, hello.
It's not like when people saw the Beatles, everybody wanted to buy a guitar and a drum set. But
or
the
penny
oboe,
lane or anything like that, right? The trumpet. No, it is like a clarinet, but it has a double reed at the top. And if anybody heard Peter and the Wolf, I'm the duck, but I hope to not sound like one. I don't know. I'm really insulted that he did that. Prokofiev is one of the non-living composers that we do play sometimes. But no, it is a double reed at the top, and like bassoon is the really large one. That's the grandpapa. It's also double reed. To make our own reeds, we can have a whole conversation about that, and I can make that really funny at some point, but about the same size, I guess you could say. There's a whole thing on Facebook right now about the fact that people keep putting oboes and clarinets and they completely mix them up, which is funny to me, but it doesn't really matter.
So if someone comes to one of the performances, they can see you play the oboe.
They can see me play the oboe.
I would go just for
tune in.
that.
You can tune in at RoCO.org or hashtag RoCO Houston on all our socials, as well as YouTube and Facebook. Free watching and listening all over the place. We love accidental tourists who come just discover us while they're browsing Facebook. Our concerts also have a pay what you wish model, which means you can pay anything, nothing, or $5,000. It's up to you completely, Bill. So again, seriously, you need to guffaw at some point for me.
I'm gonna have to check it out. That is awesome. So, of all the instruments though that you could have picked, what was it about the oboe that drew you in?
My father, he was a band director. He's still teaching band at John Paul II, actually here in Houston. And my mom is a choir director, and I'm an only child. And
I'm the only child too.
Okay. Then that's why we get along.
That explains a lot of things to those that are around me right now. Okay.
Again, therapy. That word keeps coming up.
We're getting some therapy right here.
Exactly. Just that it was an unusual instrument, and I don't mind standing out in a crowd. But if you see my car, actually, I should get a little model of my Lincoln, because I have a Lincoln Navigator that has RoCO.org plates. And so you can just, I hope I don't cut you off in traffic. That's all I say.
I'll be on the lookout for that.
Thank you.
In the meantime,
yes.
With a minute left or so,
yes.
What else do you want people to know, Alicia?
That we have paid for 16 years of rights to the music that we've left up, and titles, as Stewart Title would say, rights to the music that we've left up for free listening. So we have so many albums, and what we did over COVID was take QR codes to point to every piece on our website. So what we've done is planted these QR codes all along the Buffalo Bayou Trail that you can go along all the trails and scan and listen to pieces that I handpicked for you to listen to. It's also at the Arboretum, on Memorial Park, Texas Children's Hospital, Menninger Clinic. We are like a good musical virus through Houston. RoCO.org. Find us, come enjoy it with us, come say hi. And my cell phone is 832-498-6025 if you want to text me.
Say it a little slower. Slow down.
I'm a little terrified of that, but Mr. Mckinney has introduced me to
He's giving you the encouragement. Good.
832-498-6025. 832-498-6025.
So people can reach out to you there. Evidence, once again, this is Alicia Lawyer. Your name is spelled like a lawyer.
I am not one.
But you're an oboe player.
Yes.
And founder of RoCO. So all that said, but I want to say this, in the real estate world, we talk about it on this show all the time, and other shows due to all the people coming to Houston. So if you're listening out there and you just got to Houston in the last week, the last month, the last year, this is evidence, just a little cross-section of time that we're talking today of just some of the things that can be done in this mighty city, the fourth largest, Houston, Texas, soon to be the third. That's what they're saying, right?
That's fantastic. So exciting. And the most diverse city in the nation.
There you go. Alicia Lawyer, RoCO.org. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is once again after guest hosting 2 shows in a mighty way, John Bramlett. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. It's nice to be back on this side of the mic.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you did a fantastic job. I want to reference once again to people, if they missed the last 2 episodes, you had a tremendous show. They can simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. They can hear your fine work, and the guests that you had on were incredible.
Well, thank you, Bill. We had a good time, and I appreciate the opportunity to pinch hit for you.
Well, it's awesome. So here we are today. People love to hear about entertainment. New people come to Houston, but they also want to hear about insurance. Next to music, that's one of their most favorite things.
Probably the only thing that would be more favorite than insurance would be music.
Or taking up the oboe, but who knows?
Yes.
So what happened?
Oboe would be third.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. So today.
So there was a really interesting webinar that I attended last week that was hosted by Travelers, which is one of our insurance partners, and they had their leading cyber expert and a leading cyber attorney talking about cybersecurity and kind of the state of cyber crimes. And it was really some interesting learning. And I know that we quite often cover this subject, but it's so important for our listeners, both individuals and businesses, to truly protect yourself. They were talking about, in terms of something like every 11 seconds, it is estimated there's some sort of a ransomware occurrence that's taken place every 11 seconds.
That's crazy.
You're talking about the average demand from these cyber criminals is somewhere in the $2.5 to $3 million range, and the average payout is around $600,000. So you can see why it truly is the number one concern. But even if it was just 10% of that, it cost you $60,000. What would that do to your business? I mean, it's really scary.
And they're hitting big businesses and medium size of all size. So there's no one. I mean, I forget the statistic as far as attempts on, like, the Department of Justice. Hackers and criminals are brazen. They're attempting those kinds of organizations. It's crazy.
It is. I was in a hospital past weekend seeing some folks, and on the nurses' stations in the rooms, there were messages about ransomware and being cautious and what to look for and what to respond to and not to respond to. So as you said, everybody's being targeted, including all of us in the real estate world.
Exactly. So some of the things, though, with Stewart Insurance, you're, as far as a real estate broker that is concerned about cybercrime and things like that, there's some things that you're doing to help them as well.
Well, there are. They talked about some things that you can do to try to prevent. One of the things that was really interesting was Microsoft did a study, and if you implement multifaceted authentication, and we'll talk about that in a second, you can almost eliminate 99% of the chance that you're going to get hacked or you're going to have ransomware. So that's one way, is to implement that. And all that is it requires a user to provide 2 or more verification factors to gain access to a resource. So an example, if I wanted to get on the website for my corporate credit card, I have a password and a username and a password, and then there's another page that pops up, and I've got to supply 3 additional pieces of information in order to get to that. So that's where that comes into play. Many of our cyber clients, especially those that are dealing with clients that are dealing with financial transactions like title and attorney agencies that Stewart underwrites, many of those companies are requiring MFA in order to cover it all. They talk about having an incident response plan. So many businesses in the Gulf Coast have plans that if a hurricane's coming in, what do we do to maintain our business? Do we need to ship staff members? Like, for example, at Stewart Insurance, we'll send staff members to Austin or to Dallas.
That's right. Last time you did, I remember.
If there's a hurricane coming into the market. But have an incident response plan specifically for a cyber crime. Make sure that you securely back up your data. We talked about the MFA. if you've got patches or upgrades that come about for your software, take advantage of those, implement those, because that'll help. And then finally, there's an interesting software package that's out now called Endpoint Detection Response Software. Endpoint Detection Response Software, and it helps through analytics detect suspicious system behaviors. It can block some malicious activity, and it can provide some remediation solutions as well. So that's an interesting one to include in that program as well. So those are some things that you can do as a company and as an individual to try to protect yourself.
Well, that's a good thing. And all people have to do is reach out to you at
Stewart Insurance. That's 866-798-2827. 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us online at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And the beautiful thing at stewartinsurance.com, it's a super website with it gives people a good look at the full menu that you offer as you're helping the real estate brokers, individuals when we want our homeowners insurance. We may even want insurance on our jet ski or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
It's all right there at stewartinsurance.com.
Well, thank you, Bill. Brittany Tackard, our marketing lead, has done a great job on that website, and it truly does give you a feel for the plan options that we can build both for individuals, families, as well as real estate businesses.
Brittany does a fantastic job, and I have to use this opportunity. It's been too long. We need to get her back on the show.
Absolutely.
It's been
work
years.
on that. We'll work on that, yes.
I mean, you had Sigmund on.
I had Sigmund on. I had Raheem on. I've had Tom on.
That's
I guess
right.
we need to get Brittany and Will and May.
And how about that Sigmund with that radio voice that he
Sigmund
has?
does have the radio voice.
He was
yes.
incredible.
Yeah, Sigmund is a fantastic insurance advisor, and he really did a great job, both he and Raheem, last week talking about the different types of plans that we build for our clients.
That's right. Super people are there to help individuals as they want to be. The term that we like to use is properly insured. It's that easy. All they have to do is call
866-798-2827.
if they play the oboe.
866-798-2827.
It's that easy. John, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, we're growing. We're always looking for really good people. So you're an individual that has an interest in insurance and would like to have that as your profession, or if you are a licensed professional that's looking to move to a great team like Stewart Insurance, we would love to hear from you. And you can reach us at 866-798-2827 or email us stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
In fact, I also want to say Will Melbourne, our producer, those two shows that you did along with Will and your guests, they were incredible. And he did a lot of tremendous work there, too.
Well,
it did not go unnoticed.
Yeah, Will needed to do a lot of tremendous work considering who was behind the mic the last 2 weeks.
So there you go. All right, John, stewartinsurance.com and the phone number, just for the fun of it, one more time. Maybe we'll break a record.
866-798-2827.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Bramlett, Stewart Insurance. Thank you, John.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
As we wind up the show, we're going to bring everybody back just for a minute or so with a closing thought. Once again, here he is, one of our most unique individuals, historian, and so much more, Mr. Mckinney, Mr. McKinney's Historic Houston.
Hey, you doing? I'm so glad. And thanks. Just last parting word, just come join us on board the Houston History Bus. A lot of fun. Learn about other tours that we offer throughout the year. Great way to get out of the house with the family. You don't have 20 people. Go to MrMcKinney.com and contact us 713-364-8674. Once again, you can text me at 713-364-8674. Would love to have you on board the Houston History Bus for a great experience.
And in fact, as I did earlier in the week, I got on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
They could see the bus that we're talking about if they don't tune into the YouTube channel. So it's right there, History Bus. And if they miss the holiday season, the Christmas lights, the bus is running all year, and you're teaching history all year long to people of all ages.
You know, go to MrMcKinney.com because we're going to be doing some free tours coming up in the month of January and February to celebrate my 20th year in education. So 20 years, January 22nd, 2002, which also is an important date for Houston. It's when the steamship Laura made its way up Buffalo Bayou, January 22nd, 1837, proving that Buffalo Bayou was navigable. It was a big deal. The Allen brothers commissioned this to make it happen so they could really brag about Houston having an actual port city, which is right there where Main Street Street, dead ends in the bayou. So that's back 1837. So lots of history on January 22nd. We're going to celebrate.
You're almost reading my mind. I was going to say, just give us one word about early Houston history. Who were the guys that started this place?
Real estate entrepreneurs and speculators, Augustus Chapman Allen and John Kirby Allen. And by the way,
Allen Parkway
and Allen brothers themselves. And when they did this, came out
and
of
where were they from?
From New York City, from the New York, upstate New York. But when they came here, when they founded Houston back in 1836, August 30th, 1836, Augustus Chapman Allen was only 26 years old. John Kirby actually was 26, and the other one was 30 years old. Yeah, young men, young professionals. And their wife, Charlotte Baldwin Allen, also had something to do with it, too. We talk about her for our Women's History Tour we do every year in March.
If you want more Mr. Mckinney, just call
713-364-8674. Text us and let us know, and we'll get you on board the bus.
We'll leave them hanging, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show. Gentlemen, John Stanley and Rodney Brooks from Second Baptist Church. Rodney is our worship minister doing incredible work. And, man, he could sing. Maybe next time, Rodney, you could do a little singing. John will bring the bongos. We'll have a little oboe in the background. That sounds almost...
That'll be a lot of fun.
That sounds almost a little crazy, but it might work. Huh?
Good.
So... parting thoughts, guys. First of all, Rodney, what else do you want people to know? Let's remind them of the times and the website.
Absolutely. Saturday, December the 18th, Sunday, December the 19th. And on Saturday, there are two opportunities, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. On Sunday, 9:30, 11:11, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Again, the lighthascome.org is the best way to check it all out. Get your tickets, see the show times, and we hope to see you and your family there.
I want to say one word. Also, behind the scenes of the choir, there's people like Kathy Hudson, Linda Evans, Joe Lou. So I'm afraid to miss somebody, but there's so many great people with great hearts doing work in a way that they're so dedicated. It's incredible, and we all benefit, don't we? And I hope they're listening.
We really do. We have a host of folks behind the scenes, and that's how we get our choir in place, and everybody's accounted for, and we look
and
good.
they're serious. I mean,
they are serious about it. Absolutely. There's a whole system involved with doing that.
It runs like an Apple Watch and a Swiss watch, too. John, before we close, what else do you want people to know?
Say, if they want to call, if anyone wants to rather call, they can call 713-365-2400. Again, that's 713-365-2400, and ask about tickets or performance times if they need as well.
There you go. John Stanley doing incredible work there at Second Baptist Church. Thank you guys for being on the show. And now before we leave, we have Alicia Lawyer. That's right.
Not a lawyer.
She's not a lawyer, but she is Alicia Lawyer. Alicia, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Next time you come on the show, bring the oboe. I just want to hear it just because.
Not a problem.
And bring the whole chamber.
I don't think we'd fit in here.
3 players?
40. Thank you.
But we could do 3.
That's true.
Do an abbreviated
Absolutely.
version.
Trio would be fabulous.
Before we close, what else do you want people to know?
Just that, like you say, the team that's behind everything that we do, Greta Rimpo here is our marketing director. She's right here taking pictures. And there's so many people who are behind this. The support of Houston. Most of our donations for our $1.5 million budget is all donated dollars, practically, not based on ticket sales.
So people can donate if they want to give
absolutely.
to help. What do they do? Go to
RoCO.org to donate. Absolutely. Or follow my navigator with RoCO.org plates on it. But please, yes, come. It would be wonderful. What I would like to propose potentially is maybe we could do a commission piece for Stewart Title to have as their theme song for, we could be playing that. So I'm thinking we're going to have a conversation with John after this and talk about that.
That sounds awesome. Also,
yes.
And Greta said she plays the saxophone.
That's right. That's so fun. So it's all musical all the time.
Thank you so much, Alicia Lawyer, doing incredible work all the time. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick. Simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's easy to remember, even if you're driving, coming back from your lake house or visiting the relatives. Stewart.com/radio. Drive safely. Have a super holiday season. Check out some of these incredible things going on in Houston. We just brought a few of them to you today. Stewart.com/Houston. On behalf of John Bramlett, Stewart Insurance, Stewart Title, Bill Nampick, thank you all, and we'll see you next week.
Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com, or call 866-798-2827.